What is up, you guys? It's your favorite tarot reader, and I am back. Except for I'm not back with another read. I am back with a mental health meets spirituality episode, whatever the fuck. Okay, so this one is going to be um another video about like why I feel like my DID looks so different from other people's. A lot of times when you think about multiple personalities or dissociative identity disorder, you think about like splitting or switching off into a different person or a different personality, a different person. You know, I feel like spiritually, when you look at it from a spiritual aspect, you kind of understand that it's not necessarily a different person. And I think that before you heal yourself, you tell yourself that you're a different person and that it's not you, you know, acting in certain type of ways because I feel like it's versions of you that you don't accept or that you don't perceive anymore. Because a lot of times when we do switch off, I feel like we don't really like remember it or for me, when I switch off, I'm not really aware. People around me may be aware. They may or may not. Depends on how close you are to me. Um, but even like my mom, my family members, my friends, and stuff like that, it's not like hella apparent. Like, oh my God, Caprice just switched personalities or something like that. I feel like it's more so internal. I feel like for a lot of people, y'all have like one version of what DID looks like. And I feel like there's such a wide spectrum for every mental health disorder, for every different person, because I feel like every different person has a level of mental disorder. Every person has a level of depression within them. A level of narcissism, a level of coding or switching. Because if you think about it, to me, I feel like I have a very adaptive disorder, meaning I'm able to um, feel the energy of certain people and align my energy with theirs or what I know they want to see or what I think or believe them to want to see. It's kind of like when you're an empath, you can feel what people need from you or what they want from you. And I feel like over the years, throughout my trauma, I've kind of adapted myself to wanting to fit in to what other people's lives looked like. Because to me, my life looks so different from everyone's, even my mother's, even the people who I was in the same household with. I still felt like what I was dealing with internally looked so different than my external view. Um, so I guess basically what this video was trying to say was like spiritually, when I think about my DID, I think about it in a sense of different versions of myself, not necessarily different personalities or anything like that. It's different versions of myself. This could be me from past life. This could be my higher self. This could be a version of me that had created a lot of anger or that had a lot of anger. I know for one of my personalities or splits or alters, I call them like ancestors, me's, or whatever, way showers, whoever you want to call them, ascended masters. The version of me that I feel like I struggle the most with is anger, because I feel like she's a whole deity within her. Um, and I say that she is a deity because she's very spoiled in the sense of wanting her way, in the sense of needing her way. I kind of feel like in a past life I could have been like a king or royalty, in the sense of like I was in charge, and I feel like a lot of my anger comes from control issues, comes from me feeling like I'm not in control of my life. Um, and even though she still pops up, I feel like she's being worked on. She's integrating herself into who I am. So she'll never completely go away. But there's a sense of like she can go dormant. Not saying that I won't ever be angry again, but she wasn't even angry. I feel like that was rage. Like that was past anger, and it was residual anger. So when you go through something traumatic, um, everybody has everybody everybody's brain mind comes up with ways to cope, and with DID, one of the ways that you would cope is to split yourself into another dimension, or to go inward into your mind. That's one of the ways that people with DID protect themselves. They go in the inner world. We go in our mind, where it's kind of like you can have whatever the fuck you want in your mind. You can have castles, or I feel like a lot of people who play Minecraft are people who deal with personality disorders, rather it be antisocial personality disorders, sociopath, uh, rather it be borderline personality disorder, and stuff like that. A lot of what we classify as mental health is real life just trauma. It's just another fancy word from trauma. When when you're young, I feel like, and you experience any version of trauma, not even when you're young, at any age, but especially when you're young and you experience trauma at a young age, when your mind is still molding and being developed, it's kind of like if you come up with a specific way of showing up for yourself, mind being going into the inner world, if you come up with a specific way to take care of yourself, um, at a young age, it will develop as like a coping mechanism. So every time I was experiencing trauma, the only thing that I knew to do was to go inside my head. So now, even if something isn't super traumatic to me, naturally my mind just automatically goes into split mode, goes into um, coping mechanism mode. So I feel like for a lot of my life, I have just been coping, and not really healing. And I think that's what a lot of mental health is. A lot of mental health is coping with trauma. And when I say mental health, I also mean disorders like being blind, or being autistic, or being nonverbal, or I don't know, everything, any kind of disability, anything that they want to classify, even like cerebral palsy, things like that. Anything that makes you different or out of the ordinary, I feel like it's trauma. It comes from trauma. Um, I feel like the body remembers trauma. So even if you came into this world with like a disorder or something like that, I feel like it stems from past life trauma that has now carried on into this life, that maybe is needing to be healed or needing to be accepted. And I know in my family, in my lineage, there is mental health. In my bloodline, I'm African American, there is trauma, so there's a sense of it being embedded into my memory and embedded into my DNA. And if y'all didn't know, the way trauma works is through memory. So even if you're experiencing something that doesn't seem super traumatic, your body will literally remember certain emotions or certain feelings or um, certain things. So, like, if you feel sadness one time, even if it's something like simple, like, dang, I really wanted the last piece of chip, your body can be triggered in a way of like, oh my God, this is sadness. I'm feeling upset. Let me switch out. Like, because naturally it's muscle memory. Like, your brain is a muscle. So it's kind of like when you get so used to doing something that's a specific type of way, um, it's like it becomes muscle memory to your brain to naturally switch off or go elsewhere. And I feel like at this point, I just be ranting in these videos because stuff just be coming as I talk. But I think mental health is so misunderstood. Um, there is this woman on YouTube named Yoni Rose, and she made a video about her mental health and how her breakthrough looked a lot like a breakdown. And she discussed how she had multiple personalities, or not multiple personalities, but borderline personality disorder. And I commented that I'm a person who has DID. I am a spiritual advisor. I'm a healer. I feel like I can help. And the comments were, she needs help from a professional, not a crazy person. And to hear somebody say that, it hurt my feelings because I felt like this was one of her supporters who called me a crazy person for having multiple personalities when she was literally on a video telling them that she had borderline personality disorder. So the level of judgment that comes with mental health, I feel like has like skyrocketed into violence. It's like, even like having Tourette's or something like that, I feel like it's looked at as, oh, you're just violent, instead of looking at it from a spiritual aspect, like maybe you have so much energy flowing through your body that you can't help what happens. Like, I feel like a lot of times the trauma that we experience is like weights. And it's like, spiritually, this earth is like school, and trauma is like gym class. It's like the weights that continue to make us stronger. The more we lift, the more we go through, the stronger we are. And I feel like every being in this world is connected to mental health in some type of way. And I wish that, like, as a collective, we could understand, mental health from a more spiritual aspect. And I feel like that's why so many people are talking about it right now. That's why so many people are vlogging about it, and making videos about it and stuff, because I feel like we're accepting of our power. Like, I feel like we're now tapping into a position of, I feel like right now, if you have mental health issues or any kind of disability, a child with a disability, family member with a disability, I feel like you're anointed, and I feel like God is touching you at this time. I feel like a lot of us are coming into realizing our power, realizing that we are not normal. We are the aliens of the earth. Like, we are not normal. Like, that's the best way that I can fathom it. I feel like we came here to be different. we came here to shed light on specific things. And I feel like every single person who is dealing with mental health, or who has dealt with it via family member or someone close to them, has a divine purpose of love. I feel like you're meant to encounter real love, true love, unconditional love, be through family, through friends, through partnerships and connections, alliances, spiritual advisors, children, spouses. I feel like mental health is so close to spirituality. Like, imagine, you know, people with schizophrenia who hear voices, you know. Um, People may not understand it, people may not get it, and it may seem violent, it may seem crazy, and it may seem weird, but who knows what they're battling, or like you think of alcoholics or drug addicts and you think, oh, they're doing it to themselves. But who knows where they're going in that state of drunkenness or highness? Who knows who they're talking to, if they're able to connect to their way showers. Children who are nonverbal, even adults who are nonverbal, we don't know mentally what's going on up there. And a lot of times we dismiss people who seem different or are different. And there's a sense of like needing to learn to accept love in all forms, even when it doesn't look normal. I feel like everybody with mental health issues are here to teach the world about love. We are the guardians of the galaxy. Period. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I am taking personal readings. You guys can cash at me at _CapriceCooks. You can also email me or Apple Pay me at CapriceCooks@icloud.com. Alright, y'all. I'm out of here.